Welcome to the PPES meeting. As we've got no members of the public, we'll go straight in with item 051, which is apologies.
Apologies which have been received and accepted from Councillor Peter Howden.
052, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Local Act 2011 and to consider any request for dispensations in respect of pecuniary and non-pecuniary interest in agenda items. 053, minutes. To resolve to approve as a correct record the notes of the meetings of the committee held on the 5th of October 2022 and authorise the chair to sign the official minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't vote, can
Oh,
I?
yeah, you're not
I'm
here,
not
right?
committee,
You're
am I?
not here.
No, you're not.
I'm just here for the budgets, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 054, clerk's report.
So, speeding, we have then received the SID mounting plates. Properties, the windows at Kubro Chambers, advised a couple of weeks ago it would be 6 weeks, spoke again on the 18th of October, said it would be in 2 to 3 weeks' time, but we'll confirm nearer. Regarding the DFIB, a registered charity, somebody's come back saying, as a registered charity, we want to try and assist councils in ensuring that their local community has the benefit of this vital life-saving equipment. We currently have a £300 grant available towards the cost of each child, adult defibrillator we supply. We also provide free online CPR defibrillator awareness training. Equipment is available now.
Good. Okay, 055 is planning applications. To agree the response to the planning applications received. We haven't got too many. So we have a revised one, which
Can't remember what that was. It was an amendment to some thing, but it wasn't important. It wasn't like sexual.
no, it's not,
no,
so it's nothing major, it was just a revision. Oh, was that the one with, wasn't the one down Chancery Lane, was it?
Let's have a look. Thought we'd take you straight there.
What on the link? Which one were the 9 minutes? Construction of 1, 2, 3.
It is the construction of 103, 1, 2, 3, 4-bedroom, 2-storey traditional residential homes associated with associated garages and infrastructure, and it is Tulip Fields off Northams Lane.
Oh, yes.
So that's the one that is underway now, is it? Is it that one?
I honestly don't know. This is a modification.
What's the
Condition 2
modification?
to allow amendments to previously approved plans. I should imagine it is underway. And
Because they're constructing at the moment, aren't they? The bit that's...
Oh, I know the other one on Northern's Lane hasn't yet been approved, the one by King's.
do you want me to look up the? Do you want me to look up the plan so that I can?
If you've got the location plan, then that'll be.
Yeah. So let me just put in there. Documents, amended plans, general plans, site materials. Oh, there we go. So there's Wellborn Lane East. I guess you know this.
Yeah. I'm sure it's well raised.
Yeah. So we've got Cedar Drive, do you know?
Oh, yes,
Spruce
yes,
Close?
yes, yes.
Right,
it
so
is
it's
the
a
bit,
continuation of
yeah.
Cedar
It
Drive.
is the bit.
Which bit?
The
The one that's being built?
The bit that's being built now.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
That runs alongside the A17.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they've already started.
So they just wanted to
So
modify
they're
the
just
plans?
modifying bits and pieces. As
Yeah.
long as they're not wanting to take away any of the social, well, not social,
Affordable
housing, then
Yeah, that's a different amendment anyway, so.
so happy, no objections.
No. And then which one's the 9 dwellings?
The other one is 9 dwellings, and that is Utah.
Oh, that's next to Tudor Lodge. Road.
Yeah,
That's an extra bit.
an extra bit to their existing, but these are larger dwellings, aren't they?
Yeah.
Flood plans, location plan.
Okay. So we are looking at
State
Tudor Lodge
Road.
there. So it's actually round the back.
It's background
And-
development, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it
background?
Is
It's
it
not
connected in?
connecting, no.
It's not. Well, you know why they've done that.
Yes, I do know exactly.
Because then it's a small development and they don't need to do a 106 contribution.
Yep. So they're basically doing the same as they've done or propose in the process of doing at the manor.
Mm.
So they've gone in down the side and they're developing all the land that goes with it
It's
because
nice land.
obviously
So they're doing
they,
any little pieces so that they don't have to.
personally I think it's sticking out on a limb and I don't think it's not connected to any other part of.
Is it in the agreed building line?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Not that that seems to make any difference whatsoever.
Can you see it, Steve?
Yeah.
So it's Tudor Lodge is sitting there all nicely.
Yeah.
You've got their development over there, and they're
It's a little
basically
bit
just
back,
going
isn't
around Tudor Lodge, which Tudor Lodge is a lovely, nice individual house,
Yeah.
and they're going to whack another 9 around it. So quite frankly, I don't see that it's necessary. It's basically detracting from a very nice property, and you're ending up with a little small enclave sitting on its own.
Yeah.
How do we object to that without, I mean, what can we put in?
The only thing would be checking whether it is in the actual plan for
So
buildings, because I
making sure.
suspect what has happened is the whole Hobbitch Meadows development is in the plan,
It is, yeah.
and the other bits are in the plan. I would say that's most likely an add-on, but we'll have to check. If it's not in the plan, you object to it under that.
Okay, so we'll double check that.
But if it's in the plan as allocated for housing, you haven't really got much to go on other than objection to the style, number of houses, etc. and things like that.
What date is it that has to be done by?
Good question. That's wrong one. 25th of November.
Oh, so we've got time.
Yeah.
So we'll look into that one and then we'll bring that back to the next full council
Mhm.
meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
And just put in whatever we decide.
But the other one, no objection, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
And the first one is no?
No objection. Thank you. Okay, so we'll look into that one. Item B, to resolve to agree a response to Anglian Water's new reservoir.
It's a good thing, I think.
It's
needed.
needed.
Yeah, it seems in a good location, it's near train stations, so it would bring more, you know, tourism and stuff to that area, same as Rutland. It's not really going to affect us because it's not close enough, but seems alright.
So our response is that we are basically in favour. Yeah.
So in support?
In support. You proposing that, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve second and I agree. Item 056 is speeding. Item A is to discuss and resolve to agree the SID locations for November as Spalding Road and Holbush St John's. Okay, so
See, there is.
you got
There's a document in the drive then. Oh no, not for that.
So, where are they currently, Steve?
Both been taken down.
They've both been taken
Yeah.
down.
Took them down last week.
Where
Took them
were
charged.
they?
Holbridge Bank and Fox's Low Road.
Okay.
Have we not got anything with Park Road sorted or anything? Have you done Park Road?
No.
We haven't done anything in the town centre?
Oh no.
It was
that's
the High
fine.
Street one that wasn't sorted. Park Road, didn't they
Church
come back?
Street was, Park Road was alright.
Yeah,
Hallgate, there was one there.
There's one Hallgate. Oh no.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think we need, Spalding Road we do constantly.
I think we need to put
I
it
think
somewhere
we need to
different.
put it somewhere different, so either Church Street, Hallgate,
Do Church Street Park Road, didn't you? Maybe?
Mhm.
if it, we just need to double check the Park Road one, because I can't remember what that,
That's
you
the
remember off the
brackets
top
bit
of
that's
your-
going to take, is that the one that's taking the brackets?
well, we need to put another, yeah.
We need a new bracket.
No, it was High Street that had
Oh,
got
that's High Street,
the,
the
yeah, it
brackets,
was High
isn't
Street where they were not sure about, we just needed to get
Oh, we need to be
permission
long, yeah.
with the lamppost. But I thought Park Road would got a preferred one.
Well, if we say for the town, it's either Church Street or Park Road, depending on,
Yeah.
and then do St John's and go out, and because we always said we'd do one in town and one in the villages, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, Park Road.
Either Park Road
Well,
or
I'll do
Church.
Church Street then.
Church Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Church Street.
And then
And,
Holbridge St John's.
and Holbridge St John's.
And then B is to discuss the Archer survey, which we've had all the information come through. They did various places. Basically, it proved that the average speeds were within the speed limit. Not going to be able to do anything. So, yes, there were people that were speeding a lot more than the speed limit, but in average, it was
When we
under
had this
speed
whole
limit.
Archer survey thing before, isn't it if the average speed of people is so much below the current speed limit, you've got a, you can reduce the speed limit?
Mm.
It's not actually if people are speeding,
Mm.
it's if their average speed is X amount below the current speed limit, then you've got a ability to reduce the speed limit unless there's other factors like schools and stuff like, which doesn't make sense, but anyway.
It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Interesting, not that they do anything with the data
Well,
whatsoever.
no,
No.
they've been through it all, they've done the process,
Mm.
they've proved that there is nothing that they are going to recommend to do
No.
for those areas. If we're going to ask them to do anywhere, we need to be pretty damn certain that there's going to be something that's going to come out of it, because else what's the point in asking them to do it?
Mhm.
I know Peter was keen to potentially look at Jekyll's Bank as a potential site for an Archer survey.
Yeah.
I think maybe we look at deferring any decision as to whether we ask for one to the next meeting so Peter can be here. Because I don't really see, I think everywhere that we've had Archer surveys in the past, they haven't actually given the data that we thought that they'd give, in that we haven't had the loads of speeding, etc., etc. The average is still within the limits.
Mm.
So it's not really giving us any impetus to do anything.
No.
I think the raw is important that we look into those screens as to whether we can afford those another year.
The
to
flashing
where they
signs
just
that
flash.
don't, yeah.
To encourage people to slow down. That's the
Mhm.
more important thing. And
Oh,
put more of
cheaper.
those up around the area rather than
That'll
focusing
fill the
on
line.
trying to
Mm.
change speed limits, because it's not.
Well, if you can get them up in key areas and, you know, keep them there permanently, then that's more what people will want to have than.
Who pays for the Archers report?
It's
Not us.
part of the Lincolnshire Road Safety Partnership, so
Okay.
I should imagine
They pay.
county
Yeah.
council.
I would say so.
Okay, just wondered.
But they're going to get rather fed up if you keep asking them to do an Archer survey and it's not actually being productive.
Mm.
They need to know that there's a real reason why you want it to be happening. So we've got to be if we're going to ask for it, we've got to be clear about why we're asking for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll leave that one till next month and just if we want to ask for one. 057 properties, item A, to receive an update on chapels. Do you want to do that?
Well, the windows.
Yeah, in general.
Roof.
Well, roof, they're working on the roof. I think last time I saw they were battening and felting the second elevation. And they've only got 3 to do, and then they'll be slating, so it's not really that much further off, to be honest.
Good.
I mean, I don't know how we feel about how long it's going to take them, because obviously they were wanting for us to do an interim payment, weren't they? Now, realistically, at the rate they're going, they could well be finished before our December meeting.
December meeting.
In which case, they may as well just make sure their invoice is in. If they're finished, then they can get paid after that. And then we're not faffing around going back and forth all the time. Give them a bit of an incentive. And then in terms of the windows, we had a guy come round the other day and have a look to do a quote. So we're just waiting for that to come in. He's going to quote for both of the chapels, but basically break them down so we know the cost. And then he's going to look at having some sort of perspex or wire mesh on the outside to protect them. He said they're basically too far gone, so it's going to be replacement rather than repairing. And he did ask whether we wanted them openable, so he's going to quote for that as well, just to kind of give us a few options as to what we want to do, and then we'll go from there. So I gave him the timescales of we need it by, beginning of January for budgeting, no later, and then in terms of work, if we are going to do it, it'll be next financial year. And then obviously we'll have to go out for more prices, but just for a guesstimate.
So that's ongoing. We do need to get the pricing in for the parking bay.
Yeah.
Because obviously that needs to be actioned before.
That needs to be actioned before January, and we need to send off the photos to them. And
What parking bay?
so we had a meeting with the conservation officer. They've got the planning permission in at the moment, but that runs out in January, and listed building exempt, which the main thing that we will still need it for is change of use and bits and pieces like that. So his suggestion was that if we do something to indicate starting of works, then they will sign off as the work started and the planning permission is then indefinite. So he was suggesting if we dig the foundations of at least one parking bay before January.
In the cemetery.
Yeah,
Which was part of the planning
which was
permission.
part of the
Okay.
planning
There was
permission.
meant to be two parking bays of disabled
2 disabled parking bays
and a turning circle. But we,
Somewhere near the chapels, I presume.
yeah,
Mhm.
but we wouldn't be looking at the turning point or anything like
But
that.
if we were looking at doing say we do one parking bay,
Yeah,
even if we use that as a turning point, so if, the chapels are shut off
Yeah.
and people can get in and out the same route,
yeah.
it will be useful, and especially when the memorial masons and people come to do the work, they can park there rather than parking on the grass or
Yeah, yeah.
in the middle or somewhere blocking the road, so.
Okay.
So we just need to get some pricing in. I've spoken with Jan this morning and given a couple of names, so hopefully we can get that back fairly swiftly, and at least if we've started, then we'll hopefully get that ticked off.
Yeah.
So that's that one. Item B, to receive an update on the bowls area. Right, so bowls area, I did meet with the bowls club, I thought, to receive the keys, but clearly they had got a little bit cross-wired. We had a general chit-chat again about how it would work, what were the plans, what we were going to do. They are having their AGM, which they have to do, and they always, in their constitution, is meant to be the last Sunday in October. So basically they're having their AGM around this coming weekend, or I think they might have even had it, I don't know, but they're going to have their AGM, they're going to decide whether they are continuing as a club at all. then we either need to contact them or they'll be contacting us first week of November, meet down there, hand over the keys, they will explain where everything is, what is theirs, what is not theirs, whether we're going to have use of their equipment to maintain the bowls green in the interim. The conversation I had was around anything that they left within there that they wanted only purely for their use, so say if they've got crockery or whatever that they particularly just wanted for their use, box it up, we'll store it in the kitchen, they can use it if they're using the bowls green, but nobody else will get to use it. Same with, they've got hoovers and stuff like that in there, they were willing to leave everything there for this year. If at the end of the season it's not working or they're folding as a club or whatever, anything that is theirs will then be able to be sold by them because it's theirs. So that's the gist of what we discussed. Until we get the keys back, I'm not entirely sure exactly where everything is in relation to what we want, but hopefully we'll get that done beginning of this month. So that we'll soon have the keys back, then we can assess the situation, exactly what needs to be done, if anything. We do need to look at a bit of work in there, I think, but nothing major. And then we'll need to agree our pricing structure ready for the new season.
Rachel said something yesterday about in the charter we have to keep a bowls club green, is that
was
right?
originally in the original.
Yeah. It's in all of the documents to do with Carter's Park when it was transferred, when I think it was when we originally had the lease, and then when it got passed to us for freehold, it says about having the bowls green and sports areas and things, and tennis courts and things like that, for use of the public. Whether that is still current now, but yeah.
There's no point having bowls green if nobody's going to use it. So ultimately our tester will be this coming season.
Yeah.
How much use it gets. Is it viable to keep it as a bowls green or do we have to look at doing it?
I think we need to monitor the cost of the upkeep of the green as well
Absolutely.
for the next season
It's
because
not going to be cheap.
No.
No.
The special mowers, when cylinder mowers,
yeah.
the service is
Yeah.
quite pricey.
So it
Sharp
is
members
really,
expensive.
it is one of those ones that it's give it a go for a year,
Yeah.
but we can't commit to any more than that because we don't know
Crazy golf.
what's going to happen. And I mean, if you're only literally getting, I don't know, 2 bookings a week, say for argument's sake, is it then viable?
Yeah.
But we won't know that until we try. But we should, like I say, we'll have the keys back beginning of November. So if we've not had any contact from them by, I don't know, midway through the first week of November, can we please contact them and just G them up, please? Item C is to discuss and agree the lease for our Holbush Bank Football Club. Too much detail to go into the whole lease today, but they are approximately 6 months away from it finishing. We need to decide, A, whether we are offering a sublease again. I think we need to contact the Crown and actually ask them whether they're happy for us to sublet it anymore.
What
Yeah,
was
because-
Rachel about?
Yeah, she's looking into another option as to whether
She
there
hasn't
is a
had any
possibility
Oh.
to rent it themselves. But she hasn't gone any further with it. So we need to go through our process because we have to give them 6 months notice of any changes. So if we're going to up their rent or we're going to give them notice or anything like that,
Well,
we need to give them 6 months notice.
We need to check with the Crown and look into it a bit more, but realistically, we've set a precedent with the Bowls Club and Band Hall, it's got to be consistent with that.
Which,
At the very base rate, isn't it, really? So, which is going to be a big increase on what they're currently paying, but it's got to be consistent with that. So, as a default option, that's what you would be doing, really, wouldn't you?
it's either, I mean, again, it will be very much dependent on what the Crown say. If they're not keen for us to sublet anymore, then you're going to have to look at options of whether there's an agreement for a licence to use it for so many weeks a year or whatever.
Problem is they've got the pavilion section and then they've got the actual grounds, and I think you'd be alright doing a lease or something for the pavilion, but for the whole grounds they only use it so much in a year, don't they? So a licence would be more appropriate for the grounds and a lease would probably be more appropriate for the building.
Because when we did the lease before the sublease, it was drawn up by the Crown and we had to adopt that lease. So
But we know
it's
that
very
that
much,
lease
it's
doesn't
not
work
right. It's
because
not
it basically
correct.
gives all of the emphasis of all the maintenance, etc., onto them, which is not what we do. So,
It needs to be tweaked, but it's what the Crown feel
but if
about
the Crown
it.
are not happy with us subleasing and basically saying, well, this bit's yours and this bit's ours, and being all bitty, then
It's not going anywhere.
it's not going anywhere, is it? No.
So before the next meeting, because we will have to make decisions as to what we're going to go to them with our offer at that point. If we can say to the Crown, it's coming up for renewal or whatever, what are their thoughts? Because again, it will only be a short term because our lease ends, I can't remember, 3 years later, I think, something like that.
I think it's 2027, yeah.
It's not long,
Not long, no.
so they wouldn't be able to have a long-term lease, if anything. So how does the Crown want to play it?
And also we've got a break clause in our lease coming up, so we really need to know what the Crown are planning to do generally.
I did ask
You did ask.
a couple of months ago whether they would be extending it.
And they didn't want to say.
They don't know.
Yeah, so therefore, what we need from them is very clear. Are they wanting us to do another sublease? Yes or no? If they are saying yes, we'll have to explain that it would not be on the same basis as it is now, because that's not how it works. Or would they prefer to look at other options? Yeah?
Yep.
It might be worth just sending the football club a general letter saying, reminding them of the fact that that is coming up, just so they're aware. Yeah, so proposer, Sophie, seconder Steve, I agree. To discuss and resolve to agree the lease for Office 3 at Coomberrow. In pace weekly.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah. Personally, I think we ought to look at putting it up slightly to 30.
What are others?
He's sort of in line-ish, but under the current circumstances with heating, etc., I think we need to increase it.
Yeah.
As he's only paying weekly, it's not much of a difference. So I would propose that we increase it to 30.
So that he pays basically 100 in a month.
No, it's a
It
week, so
varies.
some weeks it's more.
Is it? Yeah. So
Right.
it comes without calculating. I'm not sure what it comes
It's
to.
still cheap.
Yes.
It's within the same sort
Take
of.
£260 a year.
Who needs a calculator?
Sorry.
So £260 a year currently.
No, he did pay an extra £260.
Oh, and
Because
it's on
it's
top.
not far,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not much.
Nothing, is it?
No.
Yeah.
And it will help towards the whole heating cost.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big worry.
How
So
long would the lease be for?
he's only done it on a year at a time, hasn't he?
No, he did it on 3 years
Did he?
with a break clause, or with a break clause after 18 months.
Okay. Well, he's happy to do the same again, based on that.
I'll propose.
Item E, yes, I agree, yeah. To review and resolve to agree to continue the cleaning contract. I would say absolutely, because they do a very good job. Are we looking to make it a longer contract, or are we going to do it on a yearly basis?
Let's have a look to see what the contract actually says. I can't remember I think it was just.
We did it on a year,
Yeah.
this one, because it was new,
Because
wasn't
it was
it?
new.
Yeah.
I'll do it longer.
I would give it longer
Mm.
if she's happy to do
3
it
years.
longer.
Term begins, for 3 years, subject to initial 6 month and only term.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so it is a 3-year
So
one.
this is just her,
If we
we've
have a
reviewed
clause
it.
further down that if we wanted to break it after a year.
all right,
we
okay,
have to
so
get
Oh,
it
so
is,
just
so
continue it
she's
on.
just
Yeah.
continuing
Yeah,
it, so we're happy to continue it then.
Mhm.
So I'll propose that.
I'll second it.
I agree.
Item F is to discuss the review dates for all properties and leases. So it's basically just so we're all aware of what's coming up. Because there's 1 or 2 that are coming up that we need to be looking at, rent reviews, etc.
So I think the first one is upstairs.
Yeah, I suspect that that may throw up something.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got one coming up
Is it
May, so we need to be, I mean, again,
oh no, sorry, May 20,
yeah, you've got May 23.
that's a rent review day. It's
That's a
not-
rent review.
It's not when it's up.
No, but it's a rent, that's what I mean, it's a rent review. So are we looking, I mean, yes, we need to look at heating, etc. But as they're not really using the room very much, I think
That's
it's...
not our fault though, is it?
No,
No, that's not. I mean, technically, they could be in there 7 days a week, couldn't they?
so you've got rent review, if we're going to up it, currently it's, you can see what it is a month on the drive. I mean, again, are we putting it up in line with what we're talking
I
about?
think you've got any choice with this.
So you're
Increasing
saying
utility.
£30 a week.
Yeah, so
It's a
if
much
you're
bigger
thinking
room,
about
yeah.
percentage of whatever, so
What?
it's,
Come on, before I start working
It's-
out on my
That's what it is
calculator.
currently.
416 a month.
yeah,
So, it's a-
Well, you've just put Office 3 up by about 20%, haven't you?
yeah,
Roughly.
Mhm.
So then that's going to go up by £80 a month, isn't it?
83.4.
so,
So that,
So 500 quid a month. Then.
that would be the answer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. About, yeah,
Yeah.
round it's 500 quid a month.
Yeah.
And then that's an increase of just less than £75 a month, isn't it?
And we're already paying for the cleaning in there, aren't we?
no,
So-
no, we're not.
They pay themselves, do they? Or don't they clean it?
No, none of the offices get cleaned. It's
Okay.
only the main areas.
All right, okay. But you've still got the increased cost of
Heating.
heating
Yeah.
and electricity.
I mean, it's the whole building, isn't it? We
Yeah.
don't just off.
Okay, so that's what we're proposing for that one. So we'll need, I mean, do we need to formally agree that at the next meeting, because we've got time to then serve them the notice, haven't we?
Yeah, you can.
Because we're only reviewing this currently, so if we put that on the agenda for next month to agree the rent
yeah.
increase
Mhm.
for the rent review.
And then you've got another one which is rent review at 23, haven't you?
Yeah,
We've
you've got,
we've got 1,
You've
2,
got 2,
3, 4, but they're later on next year.
yeah, they're later
aren't
on, so we've got a bit of time with those ones.
Mhm.
So it's just really making sure that we don't miss any of them.
Well, they're all pretty much the same. You've got 3 that are all in the same month. haven't you?
Yeah.
I think you've just got a plan to increase theirs by 20% as well, haven't you?
Mhm.
Well, those ones, potentially not, because they're not within this building.
Okay.
One is,
Yeah, but the other room in this building, if you're saying you're charging one person £30 a week,
yeah.
I know it's a slightly larger room, but work on that
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a base
yeah,
rate
yeah.
and then
If it's within this building, it's, because all costs are included.
Yeah,
If it's one of the other properties whereby they pay all their costs,
yeah.
then it's slightly different.
Yeah. Of course.
So we just need to look at them individually, but it's more about making sure we don't miss them.
Mhm.
So we've got that agenda for next time and a football club agenda for next time,
Mhm.
and then we can make decisions on that. G is to resolve to agree a way forward with the windows of 2 High Street. Has he come back with anything?
No, I haven't heard from him since. He was waiting for us to
Okay.
offer to do something.
So I'm presuming we still have got a bit of budget left in properties,
Maintenance, what,
Mhm.
general, yeah.
general properties.
What about professional fees? Are we spending all that yet? Oh, no, that's fine. Put it wrong
No,
one.
because that's
It's all right.
Yeah,
we
that's
haven't
a
spent
monthly.
it because
Yeah.
they haven't been billing, haven't
Yeah.
billed us yet.
So if we can go back to him and say we would be willing to look at a contribution,
Mhm.
but we need the quotations,
Yeah,
and then we can agree at a meeting.
I think that's fair.
So I propose that that's how we respond to him, and wait and see what we get. If we don't get any quotations come through, then we can't agree anything.
No.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
I agree. 058 is the DFIB, to discuss and resolve to agree different suppliers for the DFIB for the phone box. So you've had a bit of a response, haven't you?
Yes, and so there's a new stock update on there, but we've got the other
The other ones,
it's going to be at least the end of the year, and that's with it being ordered months ago, and I don't think that situation is going to improve. On the drive there are some different options
Yeah.
to go for, and some of them are with immediate effect, and a couple of them prices are a bit cheaper, but they do offer the pads for children.
So, providing that it's within the budget that we've got for it, that they're prepared to give, are they waiting for us to purchase it before they give us the donation? Or how's it working?
Just need to look back at that, sorry.
I don't think they've actually said a day, Karen.
No. So
No,
I think
it
what
was
we,
going
Go back.
if we go,
It just says, please could you arrange a time that you would like to collect a cheque, or we can arrange it a bank transfer. if
oh
that's
right,
more
oh okay.
convenient.
Well then if we can go back to them and say we are looking at options, if you can get one that's within the budget that they have said they're going to give us,
But
and
then you've got that charity,
yeah,
300.
so we look at all the options as
Yeah.
to which is the best option, and it can be delivered within a short time frame.
Yeah.
Then we go to them and say we are ready to order this.
Well, I think we've got the supplier sorted in the documents,
Yeah.
the one that you found. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just go to them and say that we're ready to order it, we're happy to either collect the cheque or it'd be easier for bank transfer, wouldn't it? And we just get on with it.
Yeah.
So whichever is the best value for money.
I mean, the one for children as well is
Yeah.
going to be best, isn't it? It's going to be a bit more expensive, but then if you get in reimbursement, etc.
So resolve to agree.
Yeah, okay, so you're proposing that we go with the one, the child option that is within the documents that we've had.
Yeah.
You're proposing that? Steve, second, I'm happy. Item 09559, it's budgets. Anything that's been tweaked?
I was going to ask why the property rent for 4 has gone down.
Because it wasn't correct, was it?
No, I just copied it from previous years, and
Okay.
when I worked it out, it wasn't correct.
All right.
Council tax properties,
Yes.
4A. I thought we were thinking we were going to put that into earmark reserves at the end of the year and then not budget.
Yes, what we were, yeah, so if we've not used the £500,
Yeah.
then we would do that, and we
Yeah.
won't use that budget.
But we won't know that. You've either got to make a decision now and not put it into the budget,
Yeah,
or
I would say move 300
into
across
earmark.
to earmark, then,
And release the 200,
and release the 2, yeah?
and then not have anything for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I would, yeah.
Because
It's
it's
not
not
budget
going to be a
anything.
lot, is it?
No.
Not this end of the
You'd
year.
definitely be able to get £200 from this year, so just remove 200 from the budget.
And
It's,
put 3 in
well,
to earmark reserves.
whatever's left,
Yeah, I think that.
whatever we put. Um,
Professional fees, we've got up to 7, don't we?
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. And then the only other one again was business rates for Coombe, because your actual business rates you spend was in admin.
Yeah,
So this is the contingency business rate. So again, if we haven't spent £1,000, put it in earmark reserves and don't budget for it, or only budget the 200 extra.
right. Well, we should have some back because we were overcharged and got some money to claim
Mhm.
back.
Because that's just the contingency bit, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's
so
only
put
the-
200 in there, yeah.
Yeah. Open is open. Chapels, hopefully we'll get the quote in and then we can adjust that price. And that's about it. The only thing you might have to be mindful of is the rent received for, I know it's only 20 quid, but the rent received for Holbeach Bank.
Yeah. Substitute 56, 200.
I've just saved a little bit.
Yeah. So, I'm happy to propose that then? Okay, so that's that one. So last item 060 is to confirm the date of the next meeting. So we need 2 weeks after the full council, don't we?
Well, it's either week commencing 21st or week commencing the 28th.
We need to go
Because
to
Peter's not
week.
available at all the week before the 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th.
Right. Well, we've got 2 meetings in the week commencing the 21st, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll go to the week commencing
Week
28th.
28th.
To the 30th. Wednesday.
30th?
The Wednesday then?
Yeah.
Which day?
30th, Wednesday.
And we'll keep it, what, is this sort of time
Yeah,
ahead for
oh, yeah,
you? We'll
yeah.
keep it that time at the minute. If we have any extra people joining or
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
We can adjust, can't we?
we'll have to adjust it.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So 3:30 on the 30th of November. Okay, so I'll close the meeting at 4:14.